Hi, my name is CM McGuire, and like everyone else, I'm in quarantine. I'm trying to be responsible, make sure people, particularly those with immunodeficiencies, are not infected, and like a lot of you, been hanging in, trying to do some reading. It's a little hard right now to relax into a good book. I think all of our anxieties are pretty high. And so I figured one thing that might be fun to do is I'd read the first section of some different books that I've loved that have been really impactful to me. I know sometimes it can be a little intimidating trying to start with a new author. You don't know how they write, you don't know if they'll like it. So this is just intended to be a little sampler for a variety of books. Also, I think for legal copyright reasons, I'd get in trouble if I read the whole book. So consider this your tidbit to see, do I want to go and invest in this entire journey and adventure. Today I wanted to start with Dune by Frank Herbert. It's definitely one of the more impactful classic science fiction works of the 20th century. My copy is very old. It was only $2.95 when it sold. God, those must have been magical days. Doesn't have a cover anymore. I'm not actually sure if I was allowed to buy it because I bought it like this, but I did. So here we go with Dune by Frank Herbert. I'm very excited about the new movie coming out with Timothée Chalamet. I absolutely loved the science fiction miniseries. Or sorry, I say science fiction, Sci-Fi Channel miniseries back before it was bought by Disney. I love Dune. I love Children of Dune. I'm really hopeful for what this movie's going to look like. So, starting with Dune. A beginning is the time for taking the most delicate care that balances are correct. This every sister of the Bene Gesserit knows. To begin your study of the life of Muad'Dib, then take care that you first place him in his time. Born in the 57th year of the Padishah Emperor Shaddam IV, and take the most special care that you locate Muad'Dib in his place, the planet Arrakis. Do not be deceived by the fact that he was born on Caladan and lived his first 15 years there. Arrakis, the planet known as Dune, is forever his place. From Manual of Muad'Dib by Princess Irulan. In the week before their departure to Arrakis, when all the final currying about had reached a nearly unbearable frenzy, an old crone came to visit the mother of the boy, Paul. It was a warm night at Castle Caladan, and the ancient pile of stone that had served the Atreides family as home for 26 generations bore that cooled sweat feeling it acquired before a change in the weather. The old woman was led in by the side door, down the vaulted passage by Paul's room, and she was allowed a moment to peer in at him where he lay in his bed. By the half-light of a suspensor lamp dimmed and hanging near the floor, the awakened boy could see a bulky female shape at his door, standing one step ahead of his mother. The old woman was a witch. Shadow hair like matted spiderwebs, hooded round darkness of features, eyes like glittering jewels. "Is he not small for his age, Jessica?" the old woman asked. Her voice wheezed and twanged like an untuned balisette. Paul's mother answered in her soft contralto. "The Atreides are known to start late getting their growth, your reverence." So I've heard, wheezed the old woman. "Yet he's already 15. "Yes, your reverence. He's awake and listening to us," said the old woman. "Sly little rascal." She chuckled. "But royalty has need of slyness. And if he's really the Kwisatz Haderach, well." Within the shadows of his bed, Paul held his eyes open to mere slits. Two bird-bright ovals, the eyes of the old woman, seemed to expand and glow as they stared into his. "Sleep well, you sly little rascal," said the old woman. "Tomorrow you'll need all your faculties to meet my Gom-Jabbar." And she was gone, pushing his mother out, closing the door with a solid thump. Paul lay awake wondering, what's a Gom-Jabbar? In all the upset during this time of change, the old woman was the strangest thing he had seen. Your Reverence. And the way she called his mother Jessica like a common serving wench instead of what she was, a Bene Gesserit lady, a duke's concubine, and mother of the ducal heir. Is Agam Jabbar something of Arrakis I must know before we go there? He wondered. He mouthed her strange words. Gam Jabbar, Kwisatz Haderach. There had been so many things to learn. Arrakis would be a place so different from Caladan that Paul's mind whirled with the new knowledge. Arrakis, Dune, desert planet. Tufir Hawat, his father's master of assassins, had explained it. Their mortal enemies, the Harkonnens, had been on Arrakis for 80 years, holding the planet in a quasi-fief under the Chom Company contract to mine the geriatric spice, melange. Now the Harkonnen were leaving, to be replaced by the House Atreides in the fief, complete, an apparent victory for Duke Leto. Yet Hawat had said this appearance contained the deadly peril, for the Duke Leto was popular among the great houses of the Landstrad. A popular man arouses jealousy of the powerful, Hawat had said. Arrakis, Dune, desert planet. Paul fell asleep to dream of the Arakian cavern, silent people all around him moving in the dim light of globes. It was solemn there, and like a cathedral as he listened to the faint sound, the drip, drip, drip of water. Even while he remained in the dream, Paul knew he would remember it upon awakening. He always remembered the dreams that were predictions. The dream faded. Paul awoke to feel himself in the warmth of his bed, thinking. The world of Castle Caladan, without play or companions his own age, perhaps did not deserve sadness and farewell. Dr. Yui, his teacher, had hinted that the faufreluches class system was not rigidly guarded on Arrakis. The planet sheltered people who lived at the desert edge without Cade or Bashar to command them. Will-o'-the-Sand people called Fremen, marked down on no census of the imperial regate. Arrakis, Dune, desert planet. Paul sensed his own tensions, decided to practice one of his mind-body lessons his mother had taught him. 3 quick breaths triggered the responses. He fell into the floating awareness, focusing the consciousness, aortal dilation, avoiding the unfocused mechanism of consciousness, to be conscious by choice, blood enriched and swift-flowing the overload regions. One does not obtain food safety freedom by instinct. Animal consciousness does not extend beyond the given moment, nor the idea that its victims may become extinct. The animal destroys and does not produce. The animal pleasures remain close to sensation levels and avoid the perceptual. The human requires a background grid through which to see his universe. Focused consciousness by choice. This forms your grid. Bodily integrity follows nerve blood flow according to the deepest awareness of cell needs. All things cell beings are impermanent. Strive for flow permanence within. Over and over and over within Paul's floating awareness, the lesson rolled. When dawn touched Paul's windowsill with yellow light, he sensed it through his closed eyes, opened them, hearing the renewed bustle and hurry in the castle, seeing the familiar patterned beams of his bedroom ceiling. The hall door opened and his mother peered in, hair like shaded bronze held in a black ribbon at the crown, her oval face emotionless and green eyes staring solemnly. "You're awake," she said. "Did you sleep well?" "Yes." He studied the tallness of her, saw the hint of tension in her shoulders as she chose clothing for him from Another might have missed the tension, but she had trained him in the Bene Gesserit way, in the minutiae of observation. She turned, holding a semi-formal jacket for him. It carried the red Atreides hawk crest above the breast pocket. "Hurry and dress," she said. "Reverend Mother is waiting." "I dreamed of her once," Paul said. "Who is she?" "She was my teacher at the Bene Gesserit school. Now she's the most Now she's the Emperor's truth-sayer. And Paul, she hesitated. You must tell her about your dreams. I will. Is she the reason we got Arrakis? We did not get Arrakis. Jessica flicked dust from a pair of trousers, hung them with the jacket on the dressing stand beside his bed. Don't keep the Reverend Mother waiting. Paul sat up, hugged his knees. What's a Gom Jabbar? Again, the training she had given him exposed her almost invisible hesitation, a nervous betrayal he felt as fear. Jessica crossed to the window, flung wide the draperies, stared across the river orchards toward Mount Siubi. You'll learn about the Gom Jabbar soon enough, she said. He heard the fear in her voice and wondered at it. Jessica spoke without turning. Reverend Mother is waiting in my morning room. Please hurry. All right. That is the first section of Dune. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you will go and check out the whole book. Stay safe, stay healthy, keep your spirits up, and pick up a good book.